going on, everybody? Today we're going to be rocking this magical spells deck using Zatanna and Lex. Part of me wants to drop Stargirl for Ambush Bug, just because Stargirl, usually don't really get value out of, and it's really not that useful. I might actually do it. It does fight pretty well, but Ambush Bug I think is a bit better. But essentially the goal of this deck is to play a ton of magical spells. If the opportunity presents itself to get Constantine out with a board and a bunch of free magical spells, you want to burn through those to buff your board. And your kind of secondary slash probably primary win condition is at some point to get Smoke and Mirrors so you can get a double Giovanni out in one turn. And hopefully by that point you've, amassed 6, 7, 8, 9 magical spells. And then times 2 you'll be dealing, between 12 to 18 damage to both leaders at the end of the turn, which should typically win you the game. It's not super easy to stay alive with this deck, or just in general. This is very much like a true control deck. You've got your Timothy Hunter for AoE. You want to use your Traumatize. You have Energy Blast. You have Amethyst. Just ways to ping things down. You've got Culling and Massacre, Mark of Cain. You're really just doing your best to generate value. Use your magical spells to get things like Nurgle for board clears. And then at the end of the day, you want to, finish things off with Giovanni, if not a John Constantine combo. Everything else kind of serves to fill that role and support that. We've got Necro to maybe, cycle a bunch of free actions. Dr. Fate generates a free magical spell, as does Madame Xanadu. Cersei is helpful for clearing out big targets. Something to keep in mind with Cersei is if all of your opponent's recruits have the same attack, Cersei will turn all of them into pigs. So that is very solid, but it has to be a silver magical spell. Other than that, it's just a pretty decent control deck with a kind of combo-y win condition. It can be tough to pull off, but we're going to see if we can do it. Let's go hop on into a game and see how we can. I always hesitate with what to call this deck, because it operates kind of like a combo deck, but also kind of like a control deck. At times, it can almost operate like an OTK. But yeah, we'll call it kind of a pseudo-combo deck. I'll keep the Helmet of Fate because Amethyst does count as playing a magical spell, and then getting Helmet of Fates into the deck and just being able to cycle guaranteed is pretty solid. Our biggest target is going to be burning down Cyborg. And I think between our natural draw, Amethyst into Helmet of Fate, we should be able to fill out our curve. And then by that time, Zatanna will start getting activated as well, so I think we're in an okay spot to have kept these 2 silvers. I like Grodd just because he's a big beat stick, fights very well for the board, usually demands removal. And then drawing Xanadu is pretty solid because it'll get us some free magical spells, and that's where we want to be. Let's see what rules got for us. Lex is here for 2 reasons. A, if you're in a pickle, Lex can remove a very big threat, but also you've got things like the free magical spell that summons the 3/1 little Dream Demon. You can eat that easily with Lex to draw 2 cards. Typically, you're going to want to do that as you're in the mid to late game, and you've played enough magical spells, but you haven't drawn Giovanni yet. Sometimes you use Lex to draw those 2 extra cards. We also have Friends in High Places, which I believe guarantees you Giovanni. We're rocking... Not guarantees you, I guess, because we have Dr. Fate, Giovanni, Shazam, and Nick Necro. But you have a very high chance of getting Giovanni. And it's also just kind of like a second way to draw it. I look at it as having almost 4 Giovannis in the deck. Just gives you a slightly bigger chance of drawing into him. I guess our opponent is AFK. If he is AFK, then we will just skip to the next game. Alright. We'll probably leave that in here because I was talking about the game plan, even though we got no game action. Let's go get an actual... Alright, it looks like we've got ourselves a game. Playing as Railgun, playing the completely unsurprising combination. I think against these leaders, I'd like to try and mulligan for Culling, although we did not get it. I don't recall if we go first or second, but if we go first, it's going to be very, very hard. I mean, it could be hard either way, but more hard than it needs to be. Double amethyst is a solid start. Oh, that's beautiful. Normally this is horrible to see on turn 1, but with an amethyst, we will gladly remove that. And we'll pass. Next turn we will have Zatanna active, so if we don't draw into a solid bronze, we can just try and generate one. We also have our first spell cast. Our Giovanni countdown has begun. We also still need to get a Smoke and Mirrors. I think they are YOLOing for a Batarang. Let's see if they pull it. Does not look like they did. Alright, we'll activate our Zatanna. Dream Demon Boy. I think I'm gonna save my cards because next turn we can go Constantine into Amethyst into Dream Demon, and that'll be +2/+2 on the board. And we also give our opponent an opportunity to make the mistake of using these leader abilities when they don't need to. It does mean we potentially take, you know, 4, 6, or 4, 7, 10 damage on one of our leaders. They are going to use it.
May the gods grant us their favor.
We're using both. Okay.
Tricks up my sleeve.
If we don't just die here, that gives us a very good chance to counterattack. Alright, let's do it. Let's go Constantine into Amethyst. Pop the shield off of that. We'll buff these guys. Play Gift of the Nabu. Hope for a free one. We do get a free one. That's pretty sweet. Play Fuseli Dream Demon out. Buff everybody that way. And then we'll pop the shield off of Crypto as well, just to get another buff onto everybody. And we'll pass. And I think Giovanni's already at 4. Obviously they have a good chance to counterattack, but we're going into our next Zatanna turn. I could potentially Friends in High Places for another Giovanni, which would be very good. I assume they take the Wildcat trade into Fuseli, and then they could double trade into Amethyst, but it does not do anything about John. And they're just gonna leave. I told you, it was a mistake for them, but Batman Wonder Woman players make that mistake so often. They're so used to just guaranteed winning that they'll just YOLO their leader abilities. And we took advantage of that. Let's try and get one more game. It was a matchup. Let's see what it is. Could very well be that same opponent again. It is not. It is Lex Harley. So this could be Inmates. In which case I will definitely keep the Energy Blast and we'll full ship everything else. If we start on the play, we'll probably just Forbidden Tome for options, although it is not a great feeling to lose 3 health with your whole board. They're gonna go Prometheus first. The Energy Blast should be very good at zapping down any black masks that they try and hide. Alright, Crystal Blast is solid, but we don't need it yet. They try and hide like a Ventriloquist, we can Crystal Blast it down. That as well works. Hopefully we draw like an Amethyst, or we can generate another Crystal Blast here.
I've got a lot more than rabbits in this one.
Pyromancy's kind of juicy. I think we just pass for now. I think they'll probably be able to get pretty close to activating Harley, her draw ability this turn. But I think we have a pretty decent opening to like Grodd into Crystal Blast or Grodd into Energy Blast and start kind of mounting a counterattack. Or maybe not so easily. Well, this is looking like a guaranteed Energy Blast target. So let's go ahead and get Grodd out. Let's Energy Blast Clayface. Let's Crystal Blast Ventriloquist. We're doing an okay job at clearing the board and getting into the mid and late game, which is where we want to be. Next turn is double silver, so we do have double Mark of Cain, plus Lex, plus Zatanna. At some point, I'd like to weave in a Friends in High Places so that we can try and guarantee a Giovanni in our hand, but also you can't really do that when you're trying to survive the rush of inmates. We can definitely Mark of Cain that down. Well, now we cannot as easily because of the Tweedles. If we draw a culling here, that would be really, really solid, although I don't think it's likely. And unfortunately, they're going to get buffed out of Mark of Cain range. Oh god! Ask and you shall receive! We Mark of Cain this one, culling, and then trade into Black Mask. You just truly love to see it.
I've got a lot more than rabbits in this one.
Sigil of Power is juicy. Although I like Force Field as well. I'll just grab Force Field for now. And we'll pass. I could have technically used Culling plus Lex ability to try and guarantee my Friends in High Places last turn. But it just didn't feel that great. Crystal Healing is a good draw as well. Bane is fine, even if he Lexes this down. Into Whack-A-Man, okay. Into Kite Man, okay. Okay, we're gonna get boinked. And they will start drawing their cards back. John Constantine is tempting. Let's zap that.
Time for a hostile take.
Let's get out Constantine. Let's get out Shazam. Let's play Force Field to get an aura on Shazam. And then we'll trade into Kite Man for now. Aura now means Lex's ability cannot kill either one of these guys, and inmates don't have a lot of reactive plays. They need to be proactive. So they'll probably get a Harley draw off here, but other than that, I think we're going to be in a pretty good situation. And since we drew Shazam, we're guaranteed to get Giovanni from Friends in High Places. We might be close to actually just winning the game here, though. They can deactivate a Zatanna charge here, which is probably what they'll go for. Oh, they're going for Lex. You know this is another magical spell, though, right? Oh, I know. Yeah, even popping the aura off doesn't matter. I don't know what we're doing here.
Time for a hostile takeover.
We're gonna draw some cards. Mark of Cain, Friends in High Places. We've got answers on answers. We might have to Crystal Healing Lex just in case they draw into a bazooka soon. Ooh, that's good.
I've got a lot more
If I
than
can get a free magical spell here, I think the answer is going to be Constantine into Crystal Healing. Yeah. Yeah, that's game. Wonderful. So we didn't really get to see the Giovanni endgame, but also we got to see the Constantine kind of try and swarm victories. Yeah, this deck feels solid when you can get your control tools going, and it's, I think, one of the only true control decks in DC Dual Force right now, and it just happens to have 2 different combo win conditions as well between Constantine and Giovanni. I could see Constantine getting nerfed at some point, so you might not want to rely on that in general, but I don't think Giovanni is getting nerfed anytime soon. But yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Let me know if there's any decks you guys want to see down below in the comments section. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We're here on YouTube. Please consider following the Twitch channel as well. We stream a couple times a week. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.